GST, Goods and Services Tax. Multiple choice questions. MCQ. For departmental exam, PSC exams, UPSC exams, UGC NET exam, SET, in-service exams, degree PG level exams and various other exams. GST multiple choice questions. Where the goods are assembled or installed at site, the place of supply of goods shall be, answer, the place of such installation or assembly. Question. Where the supply does not involve movement of goods, whether by the supplier or by recipient, the place of supply of goods shall be, answer, the location of such goods at the time of the delivery to the recipient. The next question. Where the goods are delivered by a supplier to a recipient or any other person on the direction of a third person, whether acting as an agent or otherwise, before or during movement of goods, either by way of transaction of documents or title to the goods or otherwise, the place of supply of goods shall be, answer, the principal place of business of such third person. The next question. Next question. Where the supply involves movement of goods, whether by the supplier or the recipient by any way, by any other, I repeat question. Where the supply involves movement of goods, whether by the supplier or the recipient or by any other person, the place of supply of goods shall be, answer, the location of the goods at the time at which the movement of goods terminates for delivery to the recipient. Question. Where the supply of service is made from a fixed establishment elsewhere, that is a place other than the place of business for which registration has been obtained, the location of supplier of service shall be, answer, the location of such fixed establishment. Question. Where a supply of service is made from a place of business for which the registration has been obtained, the location of supplier of service shall be, answer, the location of such place of business. The next question. Where the goods are supplied on board a conveyance including a vessel, an aircraft, a train or a motor vehicle, the place of supply of goods shall be, answer, the location at which such goods are taken on board. The next question. Where the services are supplied on board a conveyance including a vessel, an aircraft, a train or a motor vehicle, the place of supply of service shall be, answer, the first scheduled point of departure of that conveyance for the journey. Question. Where restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health service including cosmetics and plastic surgery is provided to the registered person, the place of supply of such service shall be, answer, where services are actually performed. Then next question. Where restaurant and catering services, personal grooming, fitness, beauty restaurant, health service including cosmetics and plastic surgery is provided to any person other than a registered person, the place of supply of such a service shall be, answer, where services are actually performed. The next question. Where the services in relation to training and performance appraisal are provided to a registered person, the place of supply of such service shall be, answer, the location of such registered person. The next question. Where the services in relation to training and performance appraisal are provided to a person other than a registered person, the place of supply of such service shall be, answer, the location where the services are actually performed. Question: where services are provided by way of admission to a cultural, artistic, sporting, scientific or educational entertainment event, the place or suppose such service shall be. Answer: the place where the event is actually held. The next question: where the services are provided to a registered person by way of organization of a cultural, artistic, sporting, scientific, educational or entertainment event, including supply of services in relation to a conference, fair, exhibition, celebration or similar events, the place or supply of such service shall be. Answer: the location of such registered person. Then question: where the services are provided to a person other than a registered person by way of organization of a cultural, artistic, sporting, scientific, educational or entertainment event, including supply of services in relation to a conference, fair, exhibition, celebration or similar events, the place or supply of such service shall be. Answer: the place where the event is actually held, and if the event is held outside India, the place or supply shall be location of the recipient. Question: where the services by way of transportation of goods, including by mail or courier, are provided to a registered person, the place or supply of such service shall be. Answer: the location of such registered person. Question: where the services by way of transportation of goods, including by mail or courier, are provided to a person other than a registered person, the place or supply of such service shall be. Answer: the location at which such goods are handed over for their transportation. Question: where passenger transportation service are provided to a registered person, the place or supply of such services shall be. Answer: the location of such registered person. Question: where passenger transportation service are provided to a person other than a registered person, the place or supply of such service shall be. Answer: the place where the passenger embarks on the conveyance for a continuous journey. Question: which of the following persons can opt for composition scheme? Option A: person making any supply of goods which are not leviable to tax under this act. Option B: person making any interstate outward supplies of goods. Option C: person effecting supply of goods through an e-commerce operator liable to collect tax at source. Option D: none of the above. Correct answer: option D: none of the above. The next question: what is the threshold limit of turnover in the preceding financial year for opting to pay tax under composition scheme for supplier of goods? Answer: rupees 75 lakh in case of 8 special category states and 1.5 crore for any other state UT. Then question: manufacturer and traders can opt for composition scheme even if they supply services provided that value of such services should not exceed. Answer: 10% of the turnover in the preceding financial year. Question: the threshold limit for registration under composition scheme for supplier of services is. Answer: 50 lakh. Question: the rate prescribed for payment of GST in case of a supplier of services who has opted for composition scheme is. Answer: 3% of the turnover as CGST and 3% of the turnover as SGST or UTGST. Question: the rate prescribed for payment of GST in case of a registered person being a manufacturer who has opted composition scheme is. Answer: 0.5% of the turnover as CGST and 0.5% of the turnover as SGST or UTGST. Question: the rate prescribed for payment of GST in case of a registered person being a restaurant who has opted composition scheme is. Answer: 2.5% of the turnover as CGST and 2.5% of the turnover as SGST or UTGST. Question. The rate prescribed for payment of GST in case of a registered person other than a manufacturer or restaurant who has opted for composition scheme is answer 0.5% of the turnover as CGST and 0.5% of the turnover as SGST or UTGST. Question. For which of the following goods the manufacturer is not allowed to opt for composition scheme? Option A, ice cream and other edible rice, whether or not containing cocoa. Option B, pan masala. Option C, tobacco and manufactured tobacco substitutes. Option D, all of the above. Correct answer, option D, all of the above. Question. For which of the following goods the supplier of goods is not allowed to opt for composition scheme? Option A, alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Option B, petroleum crude. Option C, high-speed diesel, motor spirit. Option D, all of the above. Correct answer, all of the above. Question. Can a registered person having same permanent account number opt for composition scheme only for 1 out of 2 business establishments? Answer, no. The next question. Can a person who opt for composition scheme collect any tax from the recipient of goods? Answer, no. Is a person who opt for composition scheme eligible for input tax credit? Answer, no. Question. Which of the following statement is true for a composition taxpayer? Option A, he can avail ITC on capital goods but not on inputs. Option B, he can avail ITC on inputs but not on capital goods. Option C, ITC is not available on inward supplies. Option D, ITC is available on inward supplies if tax is mentioned separately in the invoice of such suppliers. Correct answer, ITC is not available on inward supplies. I repeat, correct answer is ITC is not available on inward supplies. Question. The time of supply of goods where supplier is liable to pay tax under forward charge shall be. Answer. Option A, the date of actual issue of invoice by the supplier. Option B, the last date on which he is required under section 31 subsection 1 to issue the invoice with respect to the supply. Option C, the date on which the supplier receives the payment with respect to the supply. Option D, A or B, whichever is earlier. Correct answer, option D, A or B, whichever is earlier. That is the date of actual issue of invoice by the supplier or the last date on which he is required under section 31 subsection 1 to issue the invoice with respect to the supplier, whichever is earlier. Question. The date on which the supplier receives the payment shall be. Answer. The date on which the payment is entered in his book of account or the date on which the payment is credited to his bank account, whichever is earlier. Question. Where the supplier of taxable goods receives an amount up to Rs 1,000 in excess of the amount indicated in the tax invoice, the time of supply to the extent of such excess amount shall be. Answer. At the option of the said supplier, the date of issue of invoice in respect of such excess amount. Question. Where tax is levied on reverse charge basis, the time of supply of such goods shall be. Answer. Option A, the date of the receipt of goods. Option B, the date of payment as entered in the books of account of the recipient or the date on which the payment is debited in his bank account, whichever is earlier. Option C, the date immediately following 30 days from the date of issue of invoice or any other document by whatever name called in lieu thereof by the supplier. Option D, earliest of A or B or C above. Correct answer, option D, earliest of A or B or C above. Next question. What is the time of supply of vouchers? If the supply is identifiable at the point at which voucher is issued? Answer: date of issuance of voucher. Question: what is the time of supply of vouchers if the supply is not identifiable at the point at which voucher is issued? Answer: date of redemption of voucher. Question: what is time of supply in relation to value of supply by way of interest, late fee or penalty? Answer: the date on which the supplier receives such addition in value by way of interest, late fee or penalty for delayed payment. The next question. Value of services rendered is rupees 3 lakh. Date of issue of invoice is 12/9/2022. Advance received is rupees 75,000 on 25/8/2022. Balance amount received on 12/9/2022. What is the time of supply for rupees 3 lakh? Answer: 25/8/2022 rupees 75,000 and 12/9/2022 for 2,25,000. Then next question. What is the time of supply of services where services are received from an associated enterprise located outside India? Option A: date of entry of services in the books of account of recipient of service. Option B: date of payment. Option C: earlier of A or B. Option D: date of entry of services in the books of the supplier of service. Correct answer: earlier of A or B. Correct answer: earlier of A or B. That is, date of entry of services in the books of account of recipient of service. Option B: date of payment. Earlier of these two. Then question: where service is taxable on reverse charge basis, the time of supply of services shall be. Answer: option A: the date of payment as entered in the books of account of the recipient, or the date on which the payment debited in his bank account, whichever is earlier. I repeat, option A: the date of payment as entered in the books of account of the recipient, or the date on which the payment debited in his bank account, whichever is earlier. Option B: the date immediately following 60 days from the date of issue of invoice or any other document by whatever name called in lieu thereof by the supplier. Option C: date of invoice of service. Option D: earlier of A or B above. Correct answer: option D: earlier of A or B above. That is, the date of payment as entered in the books of account of the recipient, or the date on which the payment debited in his bank account, whichever is earlier, or the date immediately following 60 days from the date of issue of invoice or any other document by whatever name called in lieu thereof by the supplier, earlier of these two. Then next question: what is the time limit for issue of invoice in case of continuous supply of service? Option A: on or before the due date of payment, where due date of payment is ascertainable from the contract. Option B: before or at the time when the supplier of service receives the payment, where due date of payment is ascertainable from the contract. Option C: on or before the date of completion of the milestone event, when the payment is linked to completion of an event. Option D: any of A or B or C above. Correct answer: option D: any of A or B or C above. Question: what is the time of supply of services? What is the time of supply of services where the supplier is liable to pay tax under forward charge and the invoices is not issued within prescribed period under section 31st subsection under section 31 subsection 2. Correct answer: date of provision of service or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. Question: what is the time of supply of services where the supplier is liable to pay tax under forward charge and the invoice is issued within prescribed period under section 31 subsection 2? I think it is 2. Correct answer: date of issue of invoice or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. Question: what is the time limit for issuance of invoice for supply of services? Answer: it should be issued either before the provision of service or within 30 days, or within bracket 45 days in case of insurance companies, banking companies, financial institutions including NBFCs from the date of supply of service. Question: where the supplier and the recipient of the supply are not related and the price is the sole consideration for the supply, the value of supply shall be, answer, transaction value. Next question: the value of supply shall include option A, any taxes, duties, cesses, fees and charges levied other than GST. Option B, interest or late fee or penalty for delayed payment of any consideration for any supply. Option C, subsidies directly linked to the price excluding subsidies provided by the central government and state government. Option D, all of the above. Correct answer: option D, all of the above. Next question: which of the following shall not be included in value of supply? Option A, commission. Option B, late fee or penalty for delayed payment of any consideration for any supply. Option C, GST. Option D, interest. Correct answer: option C, GST. That is, which of the following shall not be included in value of supply? That is GST. Answer: GST. Question: which of the following shall be excluded in the value of supply? Option A, any discount which is given before or at the time of the supply if such discount has been duly recorded in the invoice issued in respect of such supply. Option B, any discount which is given after the supply has been effected. Option C, any discount which is given after the supply has been effected provided input tax credit as is attributable to the discount on the basis of document issued by the supplier has been reversed by the recipient of the supply. Option D, discount as per A and C above. Correct answer: option D, discount as per A and C above. Question: the transaction value for computation of value of supply can be rejected if, answer, the buyer and seller are related and price is not the sole consideration. Option: where the consideration is not wholly in money, what shall be value of supply of goods or services if open market values available? Answer: the open market value. Question: where the consideration is not wholly in money, what shall be value of supply of goods or services if open market value is not available? Answer: the sum total of consideration in money and any such further amount in money as is equivalent to the consideration not in money if such amount is known at the time of supply. Question: if the goods are supplied to related persons, then how should the taxable person ascertain the value of supplies? Answer: refer the rule 28 which is prescribed for this purpose. Question: value of supply of lottery run by state government shall be deemed to be, answer, 100 by 128 of the face value of ticket or to 100 by 128 of the price as notified in the official gazette by the organizing state, whichever is higher. Then next question: value of supply of lottery authorized by the state government shall be deemed to be, answer, 100 by 128 of the face value of ticket or 100 by 128 of the price as notified in the official gazette by the organizing state, whichever is higher. Question. Which of the following discounts shall be excluded to determine the value of supply? Option A. Staggered discount. Option B. Post-supply discounts established before or at the time of supply. Option C. Value discounts established before or at the time of supply. Option D. All the above. Correct answer. Option D. All the above. Question. The person shall be entitled to take credit of input tax only when. Answer. Option A. He is registered under GST. Option B. The goods or services or both are used or intended to be used in the course or furtherance of business. Option C. He satisfies the conditions prescribed under section 16(1)(6) subsection 2. Option D. All the above conditions are satisfied. Correct answer. Option D. All the above conditions are satisfied. The next question. A registered person shall be entitled to the credit of any input tax in respect of any supply of goods or services or both if. Answer. Option A. He is in possession of a tax invoice or debit note issued by a supplier registered under this act or such other tax paying documents as may be prescribed. Option B. He has received the goods or services or both. Option C. The tax charged in respect of such supply has been actually paid to the government either in cash or through utilization of input tax credit admissible in respect of the said supply and has furnished the return under section 39. Option D. All the above conditions are satisfied. Correct answer. Option D. All the above conditions are satisfied. Then next question. The recipient needs to reverse the credit already taken if he fails to pay to the supplier of goods or services or both the amount towards the value of supply along with the tax payable thereon within a period of. Answer. 180 days from the date of issue of invoice by the supplier. Question. On making the payment, the input tax credit which was reversed earlier can be re-availed within. Answer. No time limit. I repeat question. On making the payment, the input tax credit which has reversed earlier can be re-availed within. Answer. No time limit. Question. The time limit for taking input tax credit is. Answer. 30th number of the succeeding financial year or the date of furnishing annual return, whichever is earlier. Question. Where the goods or services or both are used by the registered person partly for the purpose of any business and partly for other purposes, the input tax credit shall. Answer. Restricted to so much of the input tax as is attributable to the purposes of his business. Question. Where goods and services are used partly for effecting taxable supply, including zero rate supply, and partly for exempted supplies, the input tax credit shall. Answer. Be available to the extent goods and services are used for effecting taxable supplies, including zero rated supplies. Question. If the goods are received in loads installments. Answer. ITC can be availed upon receipt of last installment. Question. Where the supplier has taken deduction of depreciation on the tax component of the cost of capital goods or plant and machinery as per Income Tax Act 1961, he can. Answer. Not avail ITC on the said tax component. Question. Which of the following inward supplies are not eligible for ITC in case of a company manufacturing paints? Answer. Option A. Food and beverage. Option B. Outdoor catering. Option C. Beauty treatment and health services. Option D. All of the above. Correct answer. Option D. All of the above. Question. Which of the following inward supplies are eligible for ITC in case of a company manufacturing paints? Answer. Motor vehicles and other conveyances where they are used for transportation of goods. Question. Is it mandatory to capitalize the capital goods in books of account? Answer. Yes. Question. Whether credit on capital goods can be taken immediately on receipt of the goods? Answer: after capitalizing in books of accounts. Option: banking company or financial institution have an option of claiming. Answer: eligible credit or 50% of 50% of eligible input tax credit. Question: credit on inputs or capital goods held in stock can be availed in case of new registration, voluntary registration. Answer: yes, on inputs only. Question: is input tax to be reversed in case of supply of capital goods? Answer: yes, to extent of credit taken as reduced by prescribed percentage or tax on transaction value, whichever is higher. Question: the time limit beyond which, if goods are not returned, the inputs sent for job work shall be treated as supply. Answer: 1 year. Question: the time limit beyond which, if goods are not returned, the capital goods sent for job work shall be treated as supply. Answer: 3 years. Question: the time of issue of tax invoice for supply of goods shall be. Answer: before or at the time of removal of goods for supply to the recipient, where the supply involves movement of goods, and before or at the time of delivery of goods or making available thereof to the recipient in any other case. Option: the time of issue of tax invoice for continuous supply of goods shall. Answer: where successive statement of accounts or successive payments are involved, it should be issued before or at the time of each such statement is issued, or as the case may be, each such payment is received. Option: where goods are sent or taken on approval for sale or return and are removed before the supply take place, the invoice shall be issued. Answer: before or at the time of supply or within 6 months, whichever is earlier. Option: in case of taxable supply of services, invoice is to be issued within a period of. Answer: 30 days from the date of supply of service. Option: in case of taxable supply of services by a banking company, invoice is to be issued within a period of. Answer: 45 days from the date of supply of service. Option: in case of continuous supply of services, where due date of payment is ascertainable from the contract, invoice shall be issued. Answer: on or before the due date of payment. Option: in case of continuous supply of services, where due date of payment is not ascertainable from the contract, invoice shall be issued. Answer: before or at the time when the supplier or service receives the payment. Question: registered person may issue a consolidated tax invoice for such supplies at the close of each day in respect of all such supplies provided. Answer: option A, the recipient is not a registered person. Option B, the recipient does not require such invoice. Option C, the value of goods and services or both per invoice is less than rupees 200. Option D, all the above conditions are satisfied. Correct answer: option D, all the above conditions are satisfied. Question: in case of supply of exempted goods or services or both, the registered person shall issue. Answer: a bill of supply. I repeat question: in case of supply of exempted goods or services or both, the registered person shall issue. Answer: a bill of supply. Question: in case of supply of goods by a composition dealer, the registered person shall issue. Answer: a bill of supply. Question: where advance payment is received, the registered person shall issue. Answer: receipt voucher. Question: the registered person who has supplied goods or services or both may issue a credit note. Option answers: option A, where the taxable value or tax charged in that tax invoice is found to exceed the taxable value or tax payable in respect of such supply. Option B, where the goods supplied are returned by the recipient. Option C, where goods or services or both supplied are found to be deficient. Option D, in all the above cases. Correct answer, option D, in all the above cases. Question, the registered person who has received a credit note shall declare the details of such credit note in the return for the month during which such a credit note has been issued but not later than answer 30th November following the end of the financial year in which such supply was made or the date of furnishing of the relevant annual return, whichever is earlier. Question, the registered person who has supplied such goods or services or both shall issue to the recipient a debit note where a tax invoice has been issued for supply of any goods or services or both, and the taxable value or tax charged in that tax invoice is found to be answer less than the taxable value or tax payable in respect of such supply. Question, the last date for declaring the details of a credit note issued on 25/1/2022 for a supply made on 19/9/2021 is answer 30/11/2022. Question, e-way bill should be generated where there is a movement of goods of consignment value more than answer rupees 50,000. Then question, e-way bill will be generated when there is a movement of goods of value more than rupees 50,000. Option A, in relation to a supply. Option B, for reasons other than a supply, example return, job work, etc. Option C, due to inward supply from an unregistered person. Option D, for all the above. Correct answer, for all the above. Question, where goods are sent by a principal located in one state or union territory to a job worker located in any other state or union territory, the e-way bill shall be generated either by the principal or the job worker if registered if the value of the consignment answer option A is 10,000 or more, option B rupees 20,000 or more, option C rupees 50,000 or more, option D any amount. Correct answer option D any amount. Next question, where goods are transported in an over-dimensional cargo or multimodal shipment in which at least one leg involves transport by ship, the e-way bill or a consolidated e-way bill generated shall be valid for answer 1 day up to 20 kilometers and 1 additional day for every additional 20 kilometers or part thereof. Sorry. Question, no e-way bill is required to generate. I repeat, no e-way bill is required to be generated. Next question, where goods are transported in other than over-dimensional cargo or multimodal shipment in which at least one leg involves transport by ship, the e-way bill or a consolidated e-way bill generated shall be valid for answer 1 day up to 200 kilometers and 1 additional day for every additional 200 kilometers or part thereof. Question, if an entity has multiple branches within the same state, it requires answer multiple registration or single registration as the option of the SSE. Question, if an entity has branches in different states or union territory, it requires answer separate registration in each state, union territory, but single multiple registration for all the branches within the state, union territory. Question, R has started profession of chartered accountancy in Delhi. He is required to obtain registration if his aggregate turnover during the financial year exceeds dash. Answer 20 lakh rupees 20 lakh. Question, R has started business of supplying of toys in Delhi. He is required to obtain registration if his aggregate turnover during a financial year exceeds answer 40 lakh 40 lakh. Question. G has started business of supplying of toys in Punjab. He is required to obtain registration if his aggregate turnover during a financial year exceeds answer 40 lakh. 40 lakh. Next question. E has started business of supplying of toys in Uttarakhand. He is required to obtain registration if his aggregate turnover during a financial year exceeds answer 20 lakh. Question. F has started business of supplying of toys in Manipur. He is required to obtain registration if his aggregate turnover during financial year exceeds answer 10 lakh. Question. Z has started business of supplying of toys in Tripura. He is required to obtain registration if his aggregate turnover during the financial year exceeds answer 10 lakh. Question. Threshold limit for registration of supplier of ice cream and other edible ices. Answer rupees 20 lakh in all state and union territories except for special categories. Repeat answer rupees 20 lakh in all state and union territories except for special category states. Question. Aggregate turnover means the aggregate value of answer. Option A taxable supplies, option B exempt supplies, option C interstate supplies and export of goods or services or both. Option D all of the above. Correct answer all of the above. Question. Which of the following persons are compulsorily required to obtain registration? Option A. Persons making any interstate taxable supply of goods. Option B. Non-resident taxable persons making taxable supply. Option C. Casual taxable persons making taxable supply. Option D. All of the above. Correct answer all of the above. Question. Which of the following persons are not liable for registration? Answer. Any person engaged exclusively in supplying goods or services wholly exempt from tax. Option B. Casual taxable person. Option C. Non-resident taxable person. Option D. None of the above. Correct answer. Any person engaged exclusively in supplying goods or services wholly exempt from tax. Question. An agriculturist is not required to take registration if he supplies option A. Any agricultural produce. Option B. Any agricultural produce grown by him or other agriculturist. Option C. Agricultural produce out of cultivation of land. Option D. All of the above. Correct answer option C. Agricultural produce out of cultivation of land. Then next question. Person who is liable to be registered under section 22 or section 24. Section 22 or section 24 shall apply for registration in any such state or union territory in which he is so liable within answer 30 days from the date on which he becomes liable to registration. Question. A casual taxable person or a non-resident taxable person shall apply for registration at least answer 5 days prior to the commencement of business. Question. Which of the following form is used for making application for registration? Option A. Form GSTR1. Option B. Form GSTR2. Option C. Form GSTR0. Form GSTREG01. Option D. Form GSTREG02. Correct answer form option C. Form GSTREG01. Question. Which of the following statements are correct? Answer. A person may get himself registered voluntarily and shall comply with all the provisions of GST. Option A. Voluntary registration not possible under GST. Option B. Voluntary registered person not liable to comply with all the provisions of the GST. Option C. A person may get himself registered voluntarily and shall comply with all the provisions of GST. Option D. None of the above. Correct answer option C. A person may get himself registered voluntarily and shall comply with all the provisions of GST. The next question. An e-commerce operator should get himself registered. Answer, irrespective of the threshold limit if he is required to collect tax at source under section 52. Question, what is the validity of the registration certificate? Answer, valid till it is cancelled. Question, there will be deemed approval of registration if no action is taken on application. Answer, within a period of 7 working days from the date of submission of the application. Question, if application is made for registration and clarification or information or document, if any, as required by the proper officer has been furnished by the applicant, the application for grant of registration shall be deemed to have been approved if no action is taken on application. Answer, within a period of 7 working days from the date of the receipt of the clarification, information or documents furnished by the applicant. Question, a certificate of registration shall be issued by the proper officer in form. Answer, GST RAG 06. Question, the certificate of registration issued to a casual taxable person CTP or a non-resident taxable person NRTP shall be valid. Answer, for the period specified in the application for registration or 90 days from the effective date of registration, whichever is earlier. Question, which of the following requires amendment in the registration certificate? Answer, change of name of option A, change of name of the registered person. Option B, change in constitution of the registered person. Option C, switching over from composition scheme to normal scheme or vice versa. Option D, all of the above. Correct answer, all of the above. Question, a voluntarily registered person's registration can be cancelled if the person does not start business within. Answer, 6 months from the date of registration. Question, an unique identity number can be allotted to. Answer, any specialized agency of the United Nations organizations or any multilateral financial institutions and organization notified under the United Nations Privileges and Amenities Act 1947, consulate or embassy of foreign countries, and any other person or class of persons as may be notified by the commissioner. Question, registration can be cancelled by the proper officer if the person registered under composition scheme has not furnished return for. Answer, 3 consecutive tax periods. Question, a person who is engaged in the supply of services will be required to be registered if he makes an interstate supply of taxable services of. Answer, any amount. Question, which type of the taxes are payable in case of an intrastate supply? Answer, CGST and SGST or UTGST. Question, which type of taxes are payable in case of an interstate supply? Answer, IGST. Which of the following persons are liable to pay GST? Option A, supplier of goods or services. Option B, recipient under the reverse charge mechanism in specified cases. Option C, e-commerce operator who is required to collect tax at source under section 52. Option D, all of the above. Correct answer, all the above. Question, which of these electronic ledgers are maintained on common portal? Option A, electronic cash ledger. Option B, electronic credit ledger. Option C, electronic liability register. Option D, all of the above. Correct answer, all of the above. Question, deposit of money will be credited to. Answer, electronic cash ledger. Question, the input tax credit as self-assessed in the return of a registered person shall be credited to. Answer, electronic credit ledger. Electronic credit ledger. I repeat, the input tax credit as self-assessed in the return of a registered person shall be credited to. Answer, electronic credit ledger. Question, the electronic cash ledger shall be maintained in form. Answer, GST PMT 05. Question, the electronic credit ledger shall be maintained in form. Answer, GST PMT 02. Question, which of the following items can be debited to electronic credit ledger? Answer, output tax. The next question. Payment of output GST can be done by debiting. Answer, either electronic cash ledger or electronic credit ledger. Question. Input tax credit on account of IGST available in the electronic credit ledger shall be utilized for tax payment. Answer, first of IGST, then for CGST or SGST or UTGST as per the choice of the dealer. Question. Input tax credit on account of CGST available in the electronic credit ledger shall be utilized for tax payment. Answer, first for CGST and then for IGST. Question. Input tax credit on account of SGST available in the electronic credit ledger shall be utilized for tax payment. Answer, first for SGST and then for IGST. Question. Presently, interest on delayed payment of tax is payable at the rate of. Answer, 18%, 18%. Question. A taxable person who has wrongly availed and utilized input tax credit shall pay interest on such undue or excess claim at the rate of. Answer, 18%, 18%. Question. What is the due date for payment of tax in case of registered person having aggregate turnover more than rupees 5 crore in the previous financial year? Answer, within 20 days of the subsequent month. Within 20 days from the subsequent month. Question. Who is required to furnish details of outward supplies? Option A, input service distributor. Option B, a non-resident taxable person. Option C, a person paying tax under composition scheme. Option D, none of the above. Correct answer, option D, none of the above. Question. Who is required to furnish details of outward supplies? Answer, normal registered supplier of supply including casual taxable person. Question. Which form is to be furnished for submission of details of outward supplies? Answer, GSTR 1. Question. The due date for submission of monthly GSTR 1 is. Answer, on or before 10th day of the immediately succeeding month. I repeat, on or before 10th day of the immediately succeeding month. Question. Who is required to furnish details of inward supplies? Option A, input service distributor. Option B, a non-resident taxable person. Option C, a person paying tax under composition scheme. Option D, none of the above. Correct answer, option D, none of the above. Question. Every taxable person registered as input service distributor shall furnish return for every calendar month or part thereof within. Answer, 13 days after the end of such month. 13 days of 13 days after the end of such month. Question. Every registered non-resident taxable person shall furnish return for every calendar month or part thereof within. Answer, 13 days, 13 days after the end of a calendar month or within 7 days after the last day of the period of registration specified under section 27 subsection 1, whichever is earlier. Question. Self-certified reconciliation statement in form GSTR 9C is required to be furnished by every registered person other than specified exclusions whose aggregate turnover during a financial year exceeds. Answer, 5 crore rupees. I repeat, answer, 5 crore rupees. The next question. Composition taxpayer is required to file return in form number. Answer, GSTR 4. Question. Any modification deletion done by the recipient to the details contained in form GSTR 2 shall be communicated to the supplier in. Answer, form GSTR 1A. Question. Every taxpayer paying tax under composition scheme shall file the return in. Answer, form GSTR 4 by 30th April 30th April following the end of such financial year. Question. The due date for filing GSTR 3B for persons having aggregate turnover of more than 5 crore in the previous financial year is. Answer, on or before 20th day of the next month. Question: which of the following are not required to file the annual return? Option A, input service distributor. Option B, casual taxable person. Option C, non-resident taxpayer. Option D, all of the above. Correct answer, option D, all of the above. Question: annual return in Form GSTR 9 for every financial year is to be furnished electronically on or before. Answer: 31st day of December following the end of such financial year. Question: final return on cancellation of registration shall be furnished in Form GSTR 10. Answer: within 3 months of the date of cancellation or date of order of cancellation, whichever is later. Question: prescribed late fee under CGST or SGST UTGST for delay in filing returns other than annual return under section 47 subsection 1 is. Answer: rupees 100 for every day during which such failure continues, subject to a maximum amount of rupees 5,000. Question: prescribed late fee under CGST or SGST UTGST for delay in filing annual return under section 47 subsection 2 is. Answer: rupees 100 for every day during which such failure continues, subject to a maximum of an amount calculated at 0.25% of his turnover in the state or union territory. Thank you.